Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Color Creative Week, day number 1, basically. Yeah, so let me just go and mute my YouTube I have running here on the side. Listen, guys, I want to say welcome again. We're doing our biggest live stream so far, and we had to even go and upgrade our system because we reached the capacity on the old one, and so please bear with me. I'm using it for the first time. We are streaming not just to YouTube, we are also streaming live at the same time to LinkedIn and to Facebook. And yeah, we are super happy to see you all here, and we are super happy to know that you're excited about AI and all the wonderful things that AI is giving us. And we are focusing very narrowly here, into what it really can do for us when it comes to color grading. So we've prepared like the whole week of events that are going to be super informative. We're going to start today with relatively like easy stuff, to what you can do, like just, on a day-to-day basis to make yourself life a little easier, to get the machine to do stuff for you. And that's really where AI is really good at. It's like, just assisting you. We have analyzed like a work of colorists, and we found out that there is about 40% of the time that colorist spends doing tedious tasks, repetitive tasks, right? So like just about half of the time you're kind of trying to do stuff, copy clips and make stuff that is necessary, that isn't really necessary for you to do. You could get actually a machine to automate it for you, and I'm going to show you about 5 ways in which you could get machine to do it for you today. Tomorrow we're going to do an incredibly interesting thing, but let me just actually show you what we got planned. And if there is one event you should not miss, it's the one that we're going to do tomorrow. Because tomorrow we're going to be showing you what ChatGPT can do for you. It will be a little bit more high-end. It will be going into color sciences, but it's actually really incredible what we're going to be able to do. I can't wait for tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, we're going to show you advanced color management for Adobe Premiere. And, probably most of my colleagues who work as a color scientist and, workflow supervisor are probably going scratching their head and going like, Dado, advanced color management in Adobe, what are you talking about? There is no color management in Adobe products, right? And there is actually, and you're going to see tomorrow. I'm just for fun going to go and create together with you a Dolby Vision Master for Netflix delivery, straight out of Premiere, right? Or I'm going to grade in Premiere and deliver a master. You go see, it's going to be actually really fun. And then on Thursday, it's actually one thing that I'm really, really excited about. It will be a great example for you guys to see what we can do today with these tools. So we run this training every 6 months. It's called the Look Academy. We just finished Winter Look Academy, and we're going to pick the finalists, and those finalists will be coming to Hollywood to grade on a brand new 300 nits HDR cinema projected screen, which is even brighter than Dolby Vision. It's going to be really, really exciting, to let them really play with it. And then on Friday, we have a Mr. Jeff Greenberg in the house. He's Mr. Green. We call him Mr. Green. Is gonna, show you some of the cool stuff he's been up to, because he's a total AI geek. He knows all of those tools. I absolutely love Mr. Green. So this is Friday. It's going to be really, really fun. So yeah, say hi. Say how you doing. Oh my God, Andre is with us. No, it's not ChatGPT 4. It's still, ChatGPT 3.5. The 4 is not out yet, so you'll see basically everything, we're going to be able to do. But let me just give you a summary to what you're going to be able to see today. Okay, so first of all, we're going to see 5 ways in which AI can help you. Let's see what they are. So the first thing I want to show you is how we can automate color management. Okay, the color management is something that we use right? We have completely switched in working color managed way. If you haven't, you should definitely, because if there is one thing that accelerates your workflow is color management, but it can be still very manual. So I'm going to show you how you can get the machine to really do it for you, right? The next thing we're going to go is we're going to show you how we can, use AI to transfer color, right? So, it's really like interesting, sometimes you just want to build looks and of course you can, most, trained colorists can actually operate live gamma game perfectly and come up with the results. But, it's fun sometimes not to have to operate a machine, but just actually just point in an image. Right? So this is going to be an interesting part. This is why most people get excited, by the way, about using AI, because they can start, making these crazy looks. And then we're going to show you how then we can go. You also give, footage, a balance, how we can match scenes, how we can match shots from different cameras, right? I'm going to show you that as well, right? Then I'm going to show you what's really, really cool is the kind of shot grouping feature, right? So sometimes, you have like a one image, one, angle, and you want to just kind of distribute it to all of the angles in the multicam. How to do that if the camera, hasn't been separated, right? So this is also a good one. And then also there is a feature that most people don't even know it's there. It's called suggested looks. So yeah, so it should be actually, really, really interesting. So yeah, without further ado, oh my God, we have someone from Cancun here as well. Oh, fantastic. Excellent, guys. So let's go. I'm going to go now and just, play a little bit, some of the demo that I prepared for you. So the first and most obvious thing that we can use AI for is to assist us with color management, right? So, so let me show you what I mean by that. I'm just going to go and import some media, right? And what we got here is all sorts of, material, which is kind of very common today in productions. There is some Blackmagic Raw, some files from some cameras, some CRM file, which is, Canon files, and, some files I don't even know what they are, right? So kind of, I just basically, throw all of this media onto Color Lab. And basically what Color Lab does, it does the best possible guess to understand, hey, what is the real camera? Otherwise, I would have to go shot by shot, right? And I would have to go and select, hey, you're Blackmagic. Oh, right, that's it, So but now, basically, when you have a machine do it for you, like you kind of just, save yourself so much time, basically, by having to, just open up and get the right color management settings for that clip, okay? So here, this is that Canon RAW file, right? This is, what is this? This is Arilog C. There's actually here a window called, camera profiles windows. And then when you click on one of them, it shows you really what camera, has been selected. Okay. So this is wonderful. However, there are situations when you actually don't know what camera it is at all. Like for example, this clip here, right? And there is no like a way you can find out, or even this clip is even better. Like it's called helicopter shot, right? And it's just like a, some sort of, shot that comes from archive, and there is no way for us to understand what camera it is. So what we do today with AI is we kind of tell it, hey, this is a generic log generic profile. And what happens when we actually tell the AI engine that this is a generic log, then what AI engine does when we go and press this teal button here, says match current frame, it will do its best to understand what kind of log it is and to apply the right IDT for you, or calculate the right IDT for you, because there isn't a really one for it. So it just basically looks at the contents, and you see it did actually a pretty good job. Look, this is log, and this is with the IDT. This is just the IDT, right, using the log generic. And the same thing, you can do with this type of shot as well, because it's also tagged as log generic. It couldn't really recognize what it is. You can just say, hey, here we go, and it gives you straight away. So you start, immediately, you save yourself time by not having to fiddle with every clip, trying to balance it and do stuff like that. The next most obvious thing that we can do using AI is to give our footage a balance. a kind of starting point. So let's say I'm an editor and I just got this footage from my clients and they want me to make it look like, it's a car chase. But as you can tell, it's like a flat, it's log, it's all over the place with exposures, right? Some dark, some bright, some warm, some cold, right? As you would normally get the footage. And so before you start, you need to kind of give it some sort of balance, right? I don't have a clue what camera it is. I would have to now go and invent some lookup tables, do some stuff, right? Like try to understand. So it's a very tedious process. So why wouldn't I let AI do this for me? Okay, so let's do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open Color Lab, and then I'm just going to go and say, hey, fetch from Premiere. Right, now I move all of the timeline, and then the first thing you're going to notice is that Color Lab does its magic and says, oh, right, listen, I don't know what footage it is. It's a log generic, right? So this is basically what I think it should look like, or what's the starting point. And then when I select all and press on Teal button like this, it's just gonna go analyze everything and try to do its best to create a good input device transform, a good starting point for this particular edit. Okay, so let's see how that's gonna look like. Nice, excellent. You see, like it looks like pretty cool. All right. Then I'm gonna use maybe this shot, right? And the reason why I like this shot is because I have some skin, there's some cars and trees in it. So just to try to give it a look, okay? So to do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and into into Look Designer, right? And then in the Look Designer, I always start with contrast. And I'm just gonna go through my contrast and pick one that I feel like looks kind of right for the atmosphere I'm trying to create. So maybe a little bit more like this. I usually kind of have to go through like a several, like maybe this one's good, right? So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just open it a notch because I think it needs to like just open up a little bit, right? So just a little density more, just a notch, right? And then I'm gonna give it some sort of print feel. Oh, this looks very nice, like a nice and warm. Yeah, perfect. And then I'm gonna also go and apply a negative. That's nice. You see, the moment I put agfa, kind of it gives it a little greenish feel, right? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a little bit my CMY, my true subtractive. Now we're talking, you see, a little bit more cyan there where we got. So now we got like some sort of look, right, applied to it. It feels, you see, like we had normally like something flat, then it was looking pretty much kind of like this, right? So actually I'm just gonna go and bring down here this brightness because I think I'm gonna just drive it more on the other end. So like this, like it should still look a little bit moody. I don't want it to be yeah, perfect like this somehow, right? Okay, so what I got now is I got a shot with a look. Now all I have to do is I say Command C for copy, and then I click on any of the other clips, and I say paste show look to all shots, right? And now basically it does exactly that. So what I got is I just applied a little filmic look to it, right? So it's not like a, kind of just a boring footage, I have applied a little. And because, AI balanced the shots for me, it works pretty good. This guy can be a little bit open. And there we go, right? So very quickly, I just used AI just to give me balance, apply a nice look to it. So it doesn't look just kind of, digital out of the camera. It even feels more filmic. Now I can just go and say push to Premiere. Okay, now it's going to go to Premiere. Let's see. And the great news is that now the whole color is actually a real-time effect inside the Premiere. So you see, I don't really need to render. I don't have to do anything. I don't even have to wait for, I just kind of had to just press the button. And now I can really get into editing. I can start going like, okay, this feels like more like some sort of movie, right? Rather than what I had at the beginning, just some sort of like, black and white type of image almost, right? Low contrast. The next most obvious and tedious task that we very often have to do in color grading is matching shots. Okay, and this is a kind of typical example. Let's say it's an interview and it's shot with three different cameras, three types of cameras, right? And the friendly assistant was so kind to have put a chart inside so we can see, that what colors really look like. It gives us a little reference, and this is where AI engine really, kind of, can work really well if we have a reference point, right? And the way how we, get a reference point is by extracting the mid gray. So like, so what we need to do is we need to go here into add Lachman zones, right? And what we do is then, we're looking for this kind of fourth gray quadrant, and then we click on a target and we tell it, hey, this is my 0, right? So it has adjusted that quadrant to be gray, which is my 0. Okay, so what I did now is I have kind of given it like a neutral exposure level. This is really what, neutrally this camera should be looking like, and I quite like it actually, right? I think it's great, right? So I'm going to go press R to make it a reference, right? And then what I'll do is with the other two, I'm just going to use the same. I'm just going to go and say, hey, give me the 0 reference. Perfect. So this one's good. And give me here also 0 reference. And so now they are all balanced neutrally, right? And now I can just use my kind of, AI engine, right, to go and say, okay, look, let's try to give these two shots, right, as some sort of, as close as possible balance that we can do only with the CDL. I don't want to go too deep into matching Showlots. All I want is just basically my cameras, to look, similar, so that, they don't really jar too much, that they really balance it much better. Perfect, This guy always has to come up a little bit. It's always, thing with red. Perfect, and I got it now going. And that's it. Now the camera is matched. I can just push it back into my tutorial, copy this particular grade, this particular, Color AI plugin into all of the shots, for that camera, and I'm good to go. Another way in which AI can help us is with the look development. So I got here like a bunch of shots that are from ArtGrid, right? So they just, and we don't know again what camera they are. So because they're tagged as log generic, I need to just give them some starting neutral point. Okay, so let's do that. So then we're just going to go and let them very quickly get balanced. So this is now much better, right? So here we go. All right, so what I want to do is I want to give all of these shots some look, right? I want them to kind of, feel something. Now, what I could do is I could then move around my dials, but there is a, much better, much more fun way of doing it with AI, which is just picking image references and using them to translate the color. Okay, so for example, let's say I kind of, look at this water shot and I say, I really like this water shot, but I like this type of water more. Like, it's like kind of feels like a little bit more tealish, like nice kind of, I really like it, more filmic. So what I do is I just say, hey, give me this as a reference, and it's adjusted for me. Now certainly I could be able to do it manually, with my wheels, but why would I do that? I don't really have to kind of do this. So there, for example, this eye, I quite like this eye as a reference. I found it. There is this website called Shot Deck where I get all these references from. So I kind of like to start, my project always by building some sort of bunch of reference images. So let's see this one. Amazing, right? So much better now. Okay. Or for example, this shot here, well, maybe I want it to look more like a greenish, right? Why not? Like, let's kind of make it much more dramatic, right? So now I didn't do much with it. So let's see. This guy's a little trouble. So what about if I try to, maybe use smart, Let's see which look should I apply here. So let's see. But maybe, no, I'm going to just try to make it like a very, very warm, right? Let's do that. Maybe that works better. Wow. Looks so good. then maybe I want to go and adjust this skin a little bit, but using this reference, right? Let's see this. Nice. Like it gives me like a little orangey tealy feel, right? Now I have always more options, right? You know, you can always see, hey, which is the direction that I want to go to, right? I think this is a really good one. And I'm just gonna desaturate it slightly. That way it feels better. For this green leaf, you know, let's maybe use, you know, this option. Why not? Like, you know, this looks like a really nice. Something at night. Okay, you know, there is a shot like this at night. Really good. Little desaturated, and then it's gonna like feel much better. This shot maybe, why not like make it much more dramatic like this, right? And so on. So you get the idea. Like it's so much easier for me now to kind of, you know, just work, you know, with these references, right? And see what am I getting. And if one doesn't work, I can always go try something else. And so quickly I come up with bunch of, you know, really interesting looks, like so that my footage, you know, just, you know, stops looking very like a, you know, stock footage, right? I kind of gave it a little look, I gave it a little identity, and it's something that you know, for me is right. And here is one type of help we can get from AI that actually many times people oversee, which is AI's ability to group the shots for us. So what I got here is a timeline. It is like a podcast recording, which is a multicam recording, and it has like 5 cameras, 5 angles, and each angle is different, right? So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna just go start with the first shot, and I'm just gonna give it a little neutral balance and give it a little look. Let me just pick a little print stock. Nothing really too aggressive. I just want to give it a nice like a look so that it, you know, feels like in the mood, you know, to what they are talking about. So it's a little bit more dim. It's quite an intimate conversation, right? So that looks nice, a little warmer. The skin tone looks really nice, balanced here. Okay, so I'm gonna say, all right, this is really the look I like for this particular angle, but wouldn't it be nice if I could now see all of the shots, all of the angles one next to each other? And that's what timeline intelligence does. So you see, I was able now just to click on timeline intelligence, and then it grouped the shots for me like that, so that I was just able to go and you know, see all that angle next to each other. I was just then copy paste. Now let's go next angle. I'm just gonna go and set this look a little bit. Let's see, this one looks a little bit better. Okay, I think this version, right? I can then choose, you know, between versions. When I do first match, I can then a little bit analyze and see, hey, which one, you know, is gonna work better for me. Perfect, this is a good one. Let's just open up a little bit mid-tone. This is nice. Okay, great. So now show me all of those angles, right? And you have to understand, I got this whole podcast as a one single clip, so it really is just using the content to analyze and to go like, oh, look, all of these shots are looking really similar. But it happens that just copy paste won't work. So what I have to do is I have to just basically go and match all of these shots, right? So I'm just gonna go and perform an auto match, right? So click on them, select the shots that I want to match, and it's just basically going to go and do it for me. Perfect. These ones as well. Let's go and select these and match them as well. So yeah, and that really is again huge time saver, because think about it, I would have to normally go scroll down, copy paste, match. What happens? And now, like in timeline intelligence, I can just see them really nicely next to each other, and that really helps me work, you know, much faster, much better. So once I got these matched, I can then basically proceed. Let me catch these two as well. They look a little different, so, but you know, they're also part of the same angle, so they can be matched as well. Fantastic. Okay, great. So now I go on and move to the next angle, right? So I go and say, okay, what's the next angle? It's this one, okay? And yeah, here I could also, you know, use like a, you know, suggested looks to see what would be a suggested version of this look. And look, it found one, you know, that was, you know, created probably earlier. So let's see. Yeah, it's looking really good. I like it, right? Perfect. So I'm just gonna go again into timeline and just say, hey, give me all those angles. Perfect. There we go. And I just copy and paste very quickly. And so I move on to the next angle, and this is really, really a very fast way of going through like a typical multicam scenario like this one. And number 5 way in which AI can assist us is by helping us, suggest a look or decide what look we want. And that is very simple. Like all we need to do is we need to go here in this setting which says suggested, right? And there we're going to get 3 kind of, in this case, 3 versions of this look that, we could use to go and apply to our image, right? So we could be able to work with any one of these 3. And, for example, then when I come to this shot, I could go and say, oh, maybe, I want this one, right? So I can also just say, I can just go and say, hey, apply this look, right? So I'm able to literally just, get machine to give me some sort of selections to, what could be a good way for me to work, or what I would really like, my looks to look like, so it just gives me another perspective. I can choose, between all these different, options that it's giving me, because what it happens, it kind of remembers what you do and it tracks it and it looks into your library of what you did and it just tries to give you suggestions, which would be the best options, for you to have in this particular case. And that's also sometimes very useful, that you can just kind of like a Spotify, suggested looks, right, where you can just quickly just go and figure out what would be the best way how to grade something. So yes, I try to make it as fast as possible, and really, guys, to be able to give you like quickly, like this 5 really interesting ways how to do it. I have been also like just following the chat, and Emmanuel said, can I do this with live scenario? And yes, this is especially useful for multi-camera scenarios. We have a direct integration with LiveGrade. You just press the button and you get an image from LiveGrade. You press the button and everything you set goes straight into LiveGrade, immediately gets distributed to Video Village. So it's probably one of the most elegant ways, how DITs today are managing, the workflow. And not just that, it's really giving them a very powerful tool to work with an image, right? To be able to mold an image beyond just a simple CDL, right? Because they get the look designer as a part of the package. So it's really, really really useful. I mean, like I cannot, unfortunately, a lot of my clients, don't necessarily want us to talk about how they use it. They try to, be, a little bit more secretive about, their current workflows. But, it's not really difficult, guys, to figure it out. And if you ever need the help, you can, reach out to us, and we'll give you a little assistance, to get you going to, how best you could integrate this technology in your workflow, because every workflow is a little bit different. This is just hopefully just giving you some ideas. And yeah, also just a quick thing to let you know that tomorrow we're going to be showing the ChatGPT. Again, yes, it's going to be fantastic, Please, come tomorrow and join the stream. We're having a great conversation going on YouTube. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for being such a great audience. Also, just really wanted to let you know, we are not going to just, finish on these live streams. We really want, to bring you all together. There is, AI for color is a very new thing. So trust me, this is you should consider yourself as a special group. There is very small amount of people, relatively, who are aware of this technology, that are using it, that are pioneering it, and you should definitely exchange your experiences, your ideas. And we have the Discord, which is called Art of Color. So please go to colorlab.ai/Discord, and that's where you can get an invite for it. join the conversation. What's also really cool is that there we have a look exchange, which is where you can download some of the references, some ideas. And also very important, this is where we are running monthly competitions, where we're going to be choosing, that some of the best works and more creative works, that you have, developed and created. So, really, really, really cool stuff. So hopefully I can see you all on our Discord server very soon. Thank you so much for joining. Any other questions or anything, please let us know. I'm pretty certain that somebody has asked at some moment, where is the Windows version? NIB is around the corner. I'm not saying that we will be pushing it to everybody, but it will be very exciting. So we are working really, really hard towards that deadline. And yeah, I can't thank you enough for being such an amazing audience, guys. See you soon. Actually, see you already tomorrow. Same time, same place. We're going to be digging into the ChatGPT. Thanks a lot, everybody. In the meantime, we will be on our Discord server. Enjoy your day. Thank you. Bye.